During the less than 13 years of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. leadership of the modern American civil rights movement from December 1955 until April 4, 1968, African Americans achieved more genuine progress toward racial equality in America than the previous 350 years had produced. Dr. King is widely regarded as America's preeminent advocate of nonviolence and one of the greatest nonviolent leaders in world history. Drawing inspiration from both his Christian faith and the peaceful teachings of Mahatma Gandhi, Dr. King led a nonviolent movement in the late 1950s and 60s to achieve legal equality for African Americans in the United States. While others were advocating for freedom by any means necessary, including violence, Martin Luther King Jr. used the power of words and acts of nonviolence resistance, such as protests, grassroots organizing, and civil disobedience to achieve seemingly impossible goals. In 1955, he was recruited to serve as spokesman for the Montgomery bus boycott, which was a campaign by the African American population of Montgomery, Alabama, to force integration of the city's bus lines. In 1957, Dr. King was elected president of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, SCLC, an organization designed to provide new leadership for the now burgeoning civil rights movement. He would serve as head of the SCLC until his assassination in 1968, a period during which he would emerge as the most important social leader of the modern American civil rights movement.
In the last years of his life, King faced mounting criticism from young African American activists who favored a more confrontational approach to seeking change. These young radicals stuck closer to the ideals of the black nationalist leader Malcolm X, himself assassinated in 1965, who had condemned King's advocacy of nonviolence as criminal in the face of continued repression suffered by African Americans. As a result of this opposition, King sought to widen his appeal beyond his own race, speaking out publicly against the Vietnam War and working to form a coalition of poor Americans, black and white alike, to address such issues as poverty and unemployment. The night of April 3rd, King gave a speech at the Mason Temple Church in Memphis. In it, he seemed to foreshadow his own untimely passing, or at least to strike a reflective note, ending with these own historic words. I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as people will get to the promised land. I am happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. My eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. Just after 6 p.m. of the following day, King was standing on the second-floor balcony of the Lorient Motel where he and his associates were staying, where a sniper bullet struck him in the neck. He was rushed to the hospital where he was pronounced dead about an hour later. At the age of 39, shocked and distressed over the news, King's death sparked rioting in more than 100 cities around the country, including burning and looting. King's murderer, a small-time criminal named James Earl Ray at London's Heathrow Airport. Witnesses had seen him running from a boarding house near the Lorient Motel carrying a bundle. Suspectors said he had fired the fatal bullet from a bathroom in that building. Authorities found Ray's fingerprint on that rifle used to kill King, a scoop, and a pair of binoculars. On March 10, 1969, Ray pleaded guilty to King's murder and was sentenced to 99 years in prison.
There comes a time when we heed a certain call, when the world must come together as one. There are people dying. Oh, when it's time to lend a hand to life, the greatest gift of all. We can't go on pretending day by day that someone somewhere will soon make a change. We all a part of God's great big family, and the truth, you know, love is all we need. We are the children. We are the
as Martin Luther King was considered a criminal, there are many cases of African Americans that are convicted by crimes that they did not commit just because of their color. A case of that is Derek. He was convicted for the murder of his friend Nathaniel Cash in Brooklyn, where he used to live back in 1991. The problem is that he said he was 2 hours away that night. So the New York Police Department detective that handled the case produced a witness. And Cash, the murdered guy, then girlfriend, testified that she had seen Derek shoot Cash in the chest. But later, she recanted her testimony because she said that this detective had threatened to take her children and put her in prison for violating her parole if she didn't agree to be a witness to the murder. Derek's case hinged on witness testimony. The prosecution had missed the witness that was produced by the detective. The defense had a witness, but that person was hospitalized on the day of the trial. The defense lawyers also knew 2 women who were with Derek in New Haven the night of the murder, but they couldn't contact them in time to testify. A defense motion for a delay was denied, and he was sentenced to 25 years to life. The majority of the 2,000 people in the United States formerly exonerated of crimes they never committed are black, according to this new report that examined the relationship between race and wrongful convictions. In addition, the majority of more than 800 innocent defendants framed by law enforcement since 1989 in widespread police scandals are African Americans, says the report. And that's just a proof of how the race has had this impact on this treatment of the criminals and how they were wrongfully convicted, and how race has an impact on that. So Martin Luther King was fighting for this kind of thing not happen again, and that was his big dream: equality, equal treatment for all.